Welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. So last night I got to go to an event that I had told you about on the James Show. And I know you didn't get to go. There was only I guess there was 800 people there or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the final count was. But it was the same place where we had WeatherCon. You know, we do that every year. Everyone wants to come out and see Brad Barton and Hal J and Ernie. And, oh, yeah, James is there. Oh, yeah, Casey's there. But clearly we're not the stars. That's okay. We do get a little butthurt. But they had the Frontiers of Flight Museum where we had the booth set up for all our amazing sponsors and kid programs. They had a bunch of tables and chairs set up, and they had a banquet. What? This was sweet, right? And so the group that's putting this on, they were the Dallas Jewish Conservatives, which I've been to a couple of their events before. And the joke is they're the Dallas Jewish Conservatives, and I get to go to their events, even though I'm a bug tussle Christian libertarian, right? So I didn't fit any of their descriptions there. But the group has grown and become influential enough that they're changing their name to the American Jewish Conservatives. And this was part of, I guess, the kickoff gala. They had a little fundraiser, silent auction. Sid Miller, the agricultural commissioner of Texas, did the live auction. And this group's not even that old. When was it started? 2016, 2018? And it was one guy who probably had something rolling around in his head similar to what I hear from you quite often. What can I do to make a difference? You know, I'm concerned with what's going on in the world. I'm concerned with the messaging that doesn't match our values. I'm concerned that this country's headed in the wrong direction. What can I do? Well, for some people, the answer is not a whole lot. You need to go to work and do what you do. And maybe if you can contribute a few bucks to a campaign here, volunteer a little bit of time there, or talk your neighbor into voting differently, you know, there's not going to be a whole lot of ask. But for some people, they make it their cause. And these are the real important people. I say, you know, God makes people into certain specialists, and whatever that specialty is, observe it, find it, and push them in that direction. I have a couple of friends that are just nuts about rescuing dogs. The world needs dog rescuers. If not for them, who would go rescue dogs? I sure as hell wouldn't. So that's their bag. Some people are gun nuts, and they love carrying guns and knowing everything about guns and knowing more than me about guns and having all kinds of different guns and all kinds of different ammo and I don't know, all kinds of. They could probably build one out of sticks and bear claws if you left them alone long enough. We need those people. We need someone when a shooting pops off, like at this school in Georgia, or like at a theater, or the Prophet Muhammad cartoon contest a few years ago. We need other Texans there with guns to shoot back. Gun nuts serve a purpose. Well, political nuts serve a purpose too. And if you're a political nut, Benji Gershon should be your hero. He's a guy that is in the Jewish community, but also a conservative here in Dallas. And it's really disgruntled when he looks at the numbers and finds out how lefty the Jewish community is, because it just doesn't match their values. And, the more Jewish you are, I guess I should say the more observant you are. It's not like levels of Judaism. It does tend to be the more of a practicing Jewish person you are, the more likely you are to be a conservative. But still, it bothered him that his community votes left, and he wanted to do something about it. So what did he do? He started an organization that actually opened those doors. And so if you're a Jewish person and you are of a conservative bent, you now have a community. You now have a place where they can gather. They can push their ideas. They can have speakers. They can raise money. They can share books. They can share other ideas. They can just have a place that actually represents them instead of having to be shoehorned into all these other places. And it grew quickly, and now it's huge. And they had the event last night, and Don Huffines was one of the speakers. Alan West was the MC of the event, and the keynote speaker was Ted Cruz. Someone else that did a really good job, Beth Van Dyne. Beth Van Dyne's a local congressional representative whose district's just a little bit north of where I'm talking to you right now. And they all did pretty good. And this is the part of politics that I like. The ugly part of politics is when you're in the back room, or when you're having to, talk to donors, or you're having to hammer out some sort of compromise in some committee in a congressional hallway. That's not the fun part, watching the sausage be made. This is sort of the showbiz element of it. This is where you get out in front of the people and you tell them what you're all about. And also, we're 61 days from a presidential election. I guess it was 62 yesterday. You got to get them fired up. And so it's a rally, and it's a fire up sort of rally, and it was really fun. I hate to be such a dork, but I used to wonder, like when you're in your 20s and you're going to concerts all the time, but you look around and you don't see any like 40 and 50 and 60 year olds. You're like, where are all they? What are they doing now? Well, for the big first chunk of that, your 30s or so, you're having kids and you're dealing with them. But after that, when you have your free time back, what do you do to replace that recreational time that you used to spend at clubs or at a concert or going to see live music or going to the bar, trying to hook up with chicks? What do you do with that time now? You want to do something more constructive. You want to do something more intelligent. You want to do something that'll actually mean something. And so this body of work that starts as a side project can grow into something really cool. Just get involved. And you don't have to go start your own group. You don't have to go start the bug tussle, libertarian conservatives or whatever the heck. You can just jump in on something that someone else started. So if you are a guy who's looking to take your free time and do something meaningful with it, instead of just playing Fortnite or, I don't know, pick up basketball, whatever you do, get involved in a group like this. It doesn't have to be this one, but get involved in what someone else is doing. Find a fundraiser, find a cause. But then there's this weird, awkward point to where everyone does their speaking, and then we have our VIP wristbands, because me and Garrett are very important people. We're not just moderately important people. We're very important people. There was a V on our bracelet. You get this chance to go have your picture taken with Ted Cruz. Now, I've met Ted Cruz probably about 8 times, but I don't know if he remembers me. First time I met him, it was like 2010, maybe. I don't even know if he was a senator yet. I think he was still in Congress, and there was like the National Republican Leadership Conference or something when I was in New Orleans, and I met him there like 2 years in a row. And he was a caller in my show. I had him on like maybe 8 times when I was doing a morning show in Waco. He would call in, and he's been on this show probably like 4 times. But we're almost never in the same room. I think I've been in the same room with him like 3 or this would be like the 4th time. And so we've shaken hands a couple of times, but there's been big gaps of years between there. And there's nothing more embarrassing than going, "Hello, Senator, it's me, James Parker," and have him go, "Who?" So I don't want that to happen. So I just go in assuming he doesn't know anything. So when it's time to take the picture, I shake his hand, and he looked at me kind of like a confused dog, like, "Hang on a second." Like, I know he recognized my face, but didn't get the name. And I said, "James Parker, WBAP." He goes, "Oh, yeah. I go, "Thanks for being on my show." "Oh, of course." So we take the picture and all that. And it's up on Facebook now if you want to go judge me by my appearance. And Ted Cruz isn't short. He's normal size. He's like 5'10", 5'11". I'm just Sasquatch over here. I'm like 6'3", and in my Adidas, I was a good 6'4", if not a little bit more. So I look like I'm about to eat him right after the picture. He was fine. There was no senators were harmed in the taking of that picture. But there's about a dozen or 20 so pictures that Garrett took. We made a gallery on the WBAP Facebook page. So go check that out. It was the event from the American Jewish Conservatives. And something else you need to know about, Penn and Teller is coming to the Lucas Oil Live WinStar World Casino and Resort this weekend, September 7th. For tickets and information, go to winstar.com, text MAGIC to 800-288-9227 for your chance to win a pair of tickets. You want to go see Penn and Teller? Text MAGIC to 800-288-9227. Coming up next, 61 days until election. We'll keep breaking it down for you on The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to The James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3, and we win one and we lose one. And it's not that I'm celebrating the death of the Megabus, but Megabus is going out of business, and Megabus, you haven't heard me complain about Megabus, because as I understand it, Megabus is a private sector entity that does what the public sector wish they could do: give rides without costing the taxpayers any money. Turn a profit. It's the damnedest thing. And I love Megabus because Megabus did the research. They decided how many people would use the service accurately, how much it would cost them to provide that service, how much they could charge, and if there was a positive difference, if this whole endeavor could be bankrolled. And they did it, and they made money until there wasn't money to be made anymore, and now they're shutting down. There's all kinds of pressures on them that are on pressures of every other business. The cost of everything has gone up. The cost of, the metal in the bus, to the gas you put in the bus, to the dude who drives the bus. It's all getting more expensive, but I think this is a great story to just thumbtack in that map in the back of your mind whenever we have these other train stories or these other public transportation stories, because I don't want to sound like just some hater that I'm against all public transportation. I don't care what the numbers say. I am philosophically against all public transportation, but the numbers are absolutely horrific and support me on that too. And if Megabus, a private sector, evil, profit-seeking capitalist pig, can't squeeze enough money out of the demand for people to have a cheap transportation alternative between Dallas and Houston, Dallas and Austin, Dallas and San Antonio and Houston, it was all about the Golden Triangle. And if they can't have enough of a demand to make money off of it, then we damn sure don't need to be spending tens of billions of dollars to put up a cute little choo-choo train to make people have another option. I don't care about climate change or global warming or the burning fossil fuels or any of that. It's a dumb idea. It's a bad idea. It's not going to pay for itself. It's going to use far more sources to set it up than it would ever save in gas money. It's an inferior mode of transportation. It's an obsolete mode of transportation. Trains precede cars by almost 100 years. It is an obsolete way to get from point A to point B, especially for passengers. You can make an argument for freight trains. If I just need to take thousands and thousands of tons of coal from the coal mines to the power plant. Yes, trains work, freight trains, but we don't have to subsidize them, do we? We don't have to spend hard-earned taxpayer dollars on those, do we? We don't have to go eminent domain, millions and millions of new acres and kick a bunch of families off their farms in order to make this farce happen. It's more efficient than trains, and it still went out of business. On the other side, lost the battle. The report from WFAA, I don't know if you remember a couple weeks ago, I was griping about how they're fighting to keep the one library open. Out of 30 libraries in the Dallas library system, they were thinking about closing one that has two other libraries that are pretty close to it. It's saved. I wanted it to go out of business so bad. In fact, I'm at the point where I want all these dumb public libraries to go out of business. Not all libraries, public libraries. If there is such a demand for them, if the community finds it such an important hub and meeting point and resources, then you can run it privately. There are such things as private libraries that are open to the public. They're run by private charitable donations, by 501c3s. I know, we have them in small town America all over the place. It's the most normal thing in the world where I'm from. And here I go to the big city and they're like, well, we can't have a room full of books without making the taxpayers subsidize it. BS.
This may be just this library right now, but that does not mean that it won't be your library next.
I hope it's all
Maggie
of them.
Watson is a regular of the Southwestern Skillman Library in Northeast Dallas. She is fighting to keep their doors open with a petition now thousands of names strong.
It's been a source of community in a world that is very disconnected and very hard to find people to relate to.
Hey, hang on a second. So I'm just going to interrupt our news partner, WFAA. Would you help me? If I started a petition to close that library, could I get more signatures than they got to save it? Can we do that? Because I think that would be a hoot. I know I'll be able, if I can not get my dumb butt fired for 4 or 5 years, I'll develop enough of a following that we'll be able to do stunts and pull stuff off. Like I bet Hal J could pull that off, but I don't think I could pull that off yet. I can't wait until the show's big enough to where they're like, well, they've collected 4,000 signatures to keep the library open. Oh yeah, well I got 8,000 to close it. Wouldn't that be sweet? Because like we're supposed to make decisions about statecraft based whether or not you can get 2,000 people to sign a petition. No, it's a waste of money. I don't care how many people say, I think it's okay if we waste money. No, it's not okay. Anyway, I'll continue. Hang on. Sorry, I get a little worked up.
Dallas City Council plans to close the branch as part of its 2024-2025 budget plan. Closing this library will save $485,000.
Save it.
There are some libraries in the system that aren't meeting high attendance and high utilization. And Southwestern is one of those.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so hang on. So the government is even setting up its own attendance levels. Like, here's the quota we got to meet. It's not even based on the number, like how many people have to come in before we turn a profit. This is just their goal, and they're not meeting it. Their own goal that they set themselves.
Councilmember Paula Blackman oversees District 9. She says the outpour of support for the library has been nice to see, but ultimately, keeping it open comes down to two things.
Money and votes.
Money and votes from at least 8 council members. Where you want to keep spending, she says, you must find the funds elsewhere to do it.
The budget's tight. I mean, this is like Jenga. You start pulling things out and it could collapse.
But Maggie...
Good. Pull the money out so it will collapse. And then we'll salt the earth, never to grow anything on it again.
And other petitioners like Ashley Grossman says closing a community facility feels personal.
It's not personal.
They say they don't just lose books, they also lose their book club meetups, a place to escape the heat. And
go to Starbucks.
Their polling location for election time.
People are really feeling the impact of this proposal.
No one's feeling the impact of the proposal. The library hasn't even been shut down yet. Nothing has changed. No one's feeling any impact. You're trying to come up with a reason to keep it. People are feeling the impact. What does that even mean? Feeling the impact. Oh, they may shut down my library sometime next year. That has really changed my life. No, it hasn't.
I think. And so moving forward, we're just trying to get our voices heard by our city council members.
I would rather listen to those cicadas in the background, actually. This is just making me mad.
Councilmember Blackman says she hears her constituents loud and clear.
Of course she does.
I think given the outpour, I think it is important.
No, it's not. Enough of that. Is there someone running for city council that supports what I want to do? Shut down all the libraries? I want the no library council candidate out there. I will have you on the James Show. I will promote you. Here's my platform for the city council of Dallas. Shut down everything DART related. Sell all the buses, rip up all the train tracks, write a written apology to the taxpayers of Dallas County for ripping them off for the last 30 years. Shut down all the libraries, sell off the constituent pieces. If someone wants to open a coffee shop or Books A Million in there, and we'll also write another apology note to the taxpayers of Dallas County. Is anyone running for city council like that? Do I even have that choice on the ballot? Or is it all just different flavors of paying for all this dumb stuff ad infinitum? This is the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP. Coming up next, we're going to talk to a brain specialist, coach, and consultant about what to do with all the threats and the tips from mentally ill people that come into law enforcement and the FBI. That's coming up in 6 minutes on the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey, listen up, sports fans. I've been waiting for this weekend for a long time. NFL is coming back. Look, and if you're fans of other sports leagues, you already got baseball going on. You're about to have basketball and hockey coming back. And if you're going to watch these anyway, here's another thing that you can add in just to make it a little more spicy, a little more fun. The Prize Picks app. It's not your regular fantasy sports app. You don't have to come up with a league and do a draft. And, if you were trying to get into like a fantasy football league, it's too late. They've already done all that. But Prize Picks, you can just pick it up whenever you want. You don't have to go against other people. It's just you against the numbers. You pick 2 to 6 of your favorite players, and then you pick more or less on a performance stat. And then that's it. You sit back and you rake in the money on games that you were going to watch anyway. And look, you can get everyone you want. If you want to get Dak Prescott, if you want to get CeeDee Lamb, if you want to get all the Cowboys, you can have them all. It's not like somebody else is going to draft them and you can't have them. It's just the way you want. You're not competing against anybody else. You can win real money. And if you use the promo code, download the app, use the promo code WBAP, and you're going to get a free $50 bonus with the first $5 that you spend on the app. It's guaranteed. You don't have to win to get the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed with the WBAP promo code. So check it out. The Prize Picks app. Run your game.